Hope you guys are having a great day, and welcome back to another episode. I'm just so excited. I just can't wait anymore. It's 5 days to go to an epic photographic trip that I've been planning for about 18 months to do landscape and wildlife photography in the Kalahari Desert, traveling up to Botswana on the Chobe River, doing some wildlife photography in South Africa as well as Namibia. Absolutely mind-blowing trip, 6 weeks of pure photography and travel, and I just can't wait to share my experiences with you, and hopefully it's gonna add value to your photographic journey. And as I always say, it's all about chasing the perfect light, capturing that special moment in time to cherish and share forever. One of the special, unique places I've never been to. It is in the corner of where South Africa, Namibia and Botswana meet. It's the Kgalagadi Transfrontier Park, and it's a semi-arid Kalahari region, dry, arid, but it's full of wildlife. You get the Kalahari lions, big cats, and leopards. So excited. And it's winter time there, which is dry. It's the best time really to go game viewing in southern Africa. So yeah, if you do want to go, check out the links below. I'll give you some more information about the Kgalagadi in South Africa, where it meets Namibia and Botswana. You need to book at least a year in advance. It's in such high demand for wildlife enthusiasts and photographers alike. So I booked a year in advance, and I've been waiting, as I say, for a very long time to go up there. So I'm super excited and just can't wait to share this content with you. So one thing you need to do when you're going on a photographic trip is invest yourself in a good camera bag. And these days it's quite a challenge with all the airlines with their limit on carry-on luggage, as you don't want to check in any of your expensive gear in your check-in, and you want to carry on as much as you can. So, but this bag is it's made by PGYTECH. It's a backpack, but it can also act as a duffel bag. So you can carry on like a tote bag, and it's got some great space on the top here of the bag, some additional space, and then obviously at the back here it opens up, and all your camera gear is inside. And if they challenge you, you can't carry it on, you can pull out the inner, and this is the legal dimensions, and all your camera gear is sitting in this bag, and you can actually just carry it on like this and check that in. So that's one of my tips when traveling. Always have a backup plan. And before I forget though, is as always, I will be editing a wildlife image at the end of this video, and hopefully you can gain a couple of tips where I share my workflow with you, and it's just all part of my learning experience, and I hope I'm going to add value to yours. Stay tuned, and see you in the next one. Right, so let's see what we can do with this raw image that was taken a good couple of years ago. I'd say about just over 5 years ago, not quite, so 4.5 years ago in Zululand, of a family of cheetahs. They were quite a long distance away. As you can see here, I had a 400mm Canon zoom lens on a crop sensor camera, so it pushed it up to 6 times 4, it's 24, so it's 640mm zoom lens. So what we're going to do is, let's see what we can get out of this raw image. And the first thing we need to do is crop it, and we're going to crop it right in I'm going to remove that clearing and the grass in the foreground. To about there, and then we hit the develop edit mode like that. Now the first thing we want to do, it's the highlights are quite blown out and there's quite a lot of noise, so we want to tidy it up. So the first thing we're going to do is really bring those highlights down. Increase the vibrance, the overall vibrance, I'd say to about 21, and be cautious on the saturation. I'll just take it up to about 2. Next thing I want to do is actually use the denoising function in Lightroom Classic. That's the beauty of raw images in Lightroom Classic. We're going to denoise it, and we set the denoise amount to 50, and we hit enhance, and we let Lightroom Classic do its work. Alright, the denoising is completed. Let's zoom in, control, zooming in, panning a bit. It has tidied it up. As you can see, it's not too bad for the distance that I was away from these cheetahs. Alright, let's just zoom back out. Right, the next thing I want to do is introduce a mask for the foreground. I'm going to introduce a linear gradient. So mask tool sits up on the right here. Click on linear gradient. We drag from the front to the subject to about there. And what I like to do is reduce the exposure, make the foreground darker. So we're introducing a depth of field from the bottom of the image, leading the eye to the subject. What I also like to do while we selected this foreground, I'd like to just make sure, mask 1, I'd like to reduce the clarity and the textures slightly so that we just keep all the detail and emphasis on the subject. Next, we're going to introduce another mask, and that's we're going to try and attempt to get Lightroom Classic to detect the subject. So we hit subject, detecting, and it's done not a bad job. It's left out a bit here, so what we can do, we can just add, and we can just take a brush and we can just add in that area there. It's good, and we could just subtract a bit as well. A negative brush, just tidy up that a bit. Now what we're going to do with the subject being selected, so that's mask 2, we are once again going to reduce the highlights, reduce the shadows, increase the whites, increase the saturation slightly, increase the clarity, and increase a bit of texture as well. Let's just see on the dehazing. I'll just zoom in quickly. Let's see what the dehazing does. I'd say about 2 looks good. Alright, what I'd also like to do is now create a third mask. So what we're going to do is now select the background. we just want to tidy that up as well by subtracting with the brush. We just want to subtract those areas there of the cheetah. Tidy that up a bit there. Right, I'd say not too bad for the background, and what you'd like to do with the background is reduce the saturation a bit to about -5. We want to darken the background a bit, so we just keep the light and the emphasis on the subject. Reduce the whites a bit as well. We increase the shadows, reduce the highlights, and we can bring down the overall exposure slightly. What I'd also like to do is reduce the clarity of the background and reduce the textures as well, just so that we keep that focus on the subject. So that looks pretty good. What I'd like to do now, just about finished, is introduce a vignette. And that's down the bottom here on the effects tab, and we're just going to darken those outer edges, just keeping that whole focus on the center part of the image. I think I'm just going back to mask number 2, and just the highlights are still a little bit on the high side, and so I'm just going to bring those down a bit more and actually reduce those whites. And that's it. I hope you found this tutorial useful in your photographic journey. Stay tuned for great videos coming up. As I mentioned, in 6 days' time, I'll be traveling from New Zealand back to the land where I was born in Africa on an epic photographic trip, taking photographs in the Kalahari Desert, Botswana, South Africa, and Namibia. So some good stuff coming, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for signing in. If you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And see you in the next one.